Hi everyone, it's Mary. Thank you for joining me today for my Live at 5 card class. I'm excited to be here with you. And today we're going to be making this card, and it features the Petal Passion Designer Series paper from the Occasions catalog. I've used this quite a bit in recent classes, as well as our Stampin blends. So let's have a moment here to gather everyone together. And I'm just going to do my usual check and make sure that we are coming in okay and clear. And I think we're good. But you can tell me if we're not. So there's so much going on today. I've been trying to get organized all day. I think I've been up in my craft room / office since 7:30 this morning. There's been so much happening. So to begin with, Celebration only has 2 weeks remaining. And to celebrate, Stampin' Up! Has actually added a whole host of new items to our Celebration lineup. So for the following 2 weeks, or the next 2 weeks, not only can you choose items for free with your $50 or $100 purchase from the first release or the second release, but there's now a third release. So I have updated all of this information on my blog and had a Facebook post about that a little while ago. And it'll link you back to my blog post where I have all the information on the first, second, and third releases. Now this third release, what's really special about this one is it incorporated some of the products from our regular catalogs. So there's some markers here, the Chocolate Chip and Tranquil Tide pair of markers, the 1/8 gold ribbon, Pick a Pattern cardstock, the Birthday Memories Designer Series paper, the Myths and Magic Glimmer paper, Just Add Color Specialty Designer Series paper, which if you have enjoyed my Stampin' Blends classes, these would be phenomenal for coloring with your blends. There's some cellophane bags, and there's also 4 embossing folders. I can't even say it once. I hope I don't have to say it many times. So this includes the Scattered Sequins, the Simple Stripes Textured Embossing folder, the Cable Knit Textured Impressions Embossing folder, which is one of those extra thick ones. And not only that, but perfect timing, the Petal Pair Textured Impressions Embossing folders that we're using in class today and also used on Tuesday are now available for free with a $50 purchase in my online store. So if you enjoy today's class and you hop on over to my online store and use the hostess code that goes with the class, not only will you get your free gifts from me, but when your order reaches $50 or more, you can get the embossing folders that we're going to use in class today for free. So that's awesome. They've also added a couple of framelits dies to the $100 level of free products. And also in addition on the $50 level is the Color Me Happy project kit. So again, all of this information is on my website and it's also here on my Facebook page with all the full links and details. So I am very excited about that. I think that's fabulous. Next, if you have been following along with me, you know that I've recently launched a card tutorial to go with each of my Live at 5 card classes. Hi Barbara, hi Sandy, thank you for joining me. And this tutorial, I posted it this morning, and it's a downloadable PDF. So it contains all of the product supplies, the cutting and scoring directions for your supplies. It also has the step-by-step directions on how to complete the card, so you don't have to take any notes during class. And also it has all of the supplies that we used in class today with links to where you can find those products in my online store. Now, that leads me to the next point. If you're going to select your Petal Pair Impressions folders for your free with 50 product, do not use the item number that's in the PDF, okay? You'll have to refer back to my blog or go to the links in my online store where it prompts you to select your free with 50 or free with $100 level and select those items right there in that menu, because they do have separate item codes. So if you're going to purchase the Petal Pair embossing folders, you would use this item number here, the 145656. If you're selecting it as a free with 50, you will be prompted in my online store to pick from a menu, so you shouldn't have to worry about it there. But that item code is completely different, and it's 150035. So for example, so all of these items that are now available for celebration, but are also available to purchase, have separate item codes depending on whether you're purchasing or earning for free. So I know it's a little complicated, but believe me, when you're in the online store, it'll be a lot easier for you to follow. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Julie. Okay, so that takes care of that item. Now, if you are purchasing in my online store, this is the exclusive hostess code for my Live at 5 card classes this week. So when you go to my online store at stampinginthesand.stampinup.net and go to the online store, you place your order, there'll be a box at the very bottom asking you if you have a hostess code. You enter this hostess code and I will be sending you a free gift from me, not from Stampin' Up, from me, as well as a handcrafted card for you to copy or send out or just use for inspiration, whatever you choose to do. And I do have some specific goals I'm trying to meet this month. There's a challenge going on right now with Stampin' Up that you can challenge yourself to finish out the quarter at a certain goals that you've set for yourself. I've set some goals for myself. I'm currently a little short. So for the next 2 weeks, all of these orders that go through my online store, I will be sending out special little bonus gifts to everybody that helps me meet my goals. And this is the first time I've actually set a big goal for myself, or any kind of goal. So I'm finding it a little bit challenging, but it's fun. It's always nice to step out of your comfort zone and do things a little differently. And I appreciate all of you for participating in my classes and supporting me and showing me some love, and I really do appreciate it, especially where my recent move has kind of set me back a few steps. I didn't realize moving was gonna make me kind of start all over again, but it's been fun. It's been a unique and interesting journey. So, hi Christina, how are you? Hi Jan. So what else do I have? So we have the unique hostess code, and we covered celebration. So if your order is $50 or more, you'll qualify for one of the $50 level gifts with purchase. And if your orders are $100 or more, you can have 2 $50 level gifts with purchase or one $100 level gift with purchase. And that'll be clearer to you when you're in the online store. If your order is $150 or more, do not use this Live at 5 hostess code. Why? Because you will qualify for hostess benefits on your $150 order. So in other words, that's about 10% on a $150 order, up to, I think it's $250, where you then get to double your rewards. But you will earn on a $150 order, for example, you will earn either 3 of the $50 celebration items, or one $50 level celebration item and two $100 level celebration item and one $50 level, or 3 $50 level. And it's clearer in the online store than it is me trying to explain it to you, because I'm just falling all over myself. Oh, hi, Linda. Thank you. And then if your wish list is really big, and your order is reaching the $150 mark, probably the best thing for you to do is sign up to join my team, because with that deal, you can choose $125 worth of product. You only pay $99 for it, plus your applicable state tax. There's no shipping because Stampin' Up! Is going to cover the shipping for you. And only during celebration, so through the end of the month, you also will get to choose 2 free stamp sets up to $101 value. So you could get 2 $50 stamp sets for free just for joining. And you also receive 20% off all of your future orders while you're an active demonstrator. And you don't have to hold classes. You don't ever have to buy anything else. You don't have to sell to your friends. You can join just for the discount. And I've actually had a couple of people that have recently joined exclusively to get the 20% off discount. So that's awesome, because I love being able to share with them and let them build up their supplies and build up their wish list, or build down their wish list, I guess, the opposite, all at a discount. So that information is all available on my website as well. Okay, so what is next? Oh, the only other thing business-wise to check off of my list here is Paper Pumpkin. If you have heard of Paper Pumpkin or not heard of Paper Pumpkin, it's our monthly subscription kit. So once a month, you get a surprise kit in the mail. This was February's kit. It was fabulous. March's is on its way. And March, we had so many people sign up to receive Paper Pumpkin that they sold out of the kits. So they are not available anymore. And we haven't even gotten them yet, and they're sold out. So this is just a sampling of what you can receive in a Paper Pumpkin kit. February's were these absolutely fantastic cards. And you get all of the supplies, the stamp sets, the adhesives, the die cuts, the ribbon, the twine, the envelopes, if it's cards. Everything comes in the kit. So if you're interested in Paper Pumpkin, that information is available on my website as well. And we are now currently offering to new subscribers 50% off your first 2 months. And that is with a coupon code. It's SAVE500418. So basically it's SAVE50 April of 18. And that's because the deal is good from now through May. And your first kits will be April and May's kit. And that's for 50% off new subscribers. And all of that information is available on my website as well. But as usual, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me and I will be happy to help you. So, one other last thing, and I'm sorry for going on and on and on, is Tuesday we made these cards. And this was using the Springtime Foils Designer Series paper. And these foil papers are one of the free with 50 level items in the Celebration catalog, or Celebration brochure rather, and we colored them with the Stampin' blends. And this was just some of the cards that we displayed on Tuesday. And after the class, I had received quite a few emails actually asking about different ways you can color this paper without using the blends, if you don't, say, have the blends. Whether or not you could watercolor it, whether or not you could use markers, what are the other ways to color? So I thought I would just briefly touch on that before we start today's class, in case some of you were also wondering the same thing but hadn't contacted me. So I sat down and I actually played with a few different ideas. So this one, and I'll actually hold it up against a card base so you can see it better. So this one I actually colored using the watercoloring. So this was Melon Mambo ink and an aqua painter. And then down here I used the, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna blank on the color. I'm blanking. What is this color? plum. What is this color? Hold on. I gotta look. Leave it to me to blank on a color. It's right here on my table. Yeah, sweet sugar plum. So this is sweet sugar plum, and then this is, what did I say it was? Because it's not what I said it was. Hold on. Oy. I'm telling you, just when you think you're prepared. All right, I used Berry Burst and Sweet Sugar Plum together on this one, and I used watercoloring with an aqua painter. So yes, you can watercolor it. One thing I did notice is it's less forgiving if you go outside the lines. When you're using your blends, you can correct it with the color lifter. And actually, I had to be very careful to stay within the lines with the watercoloring. And I had to use a moistened Q-tip to try to get some of the oopsies off of there. But it did hold the watercoloring great. I was able to blend with it and shade with it. I was really happy with how it turned out. So I definitely would say that you can use your watercoloring technique on the foil paper. And then the next little sample that I have is this one. And this one I use markers. So this one has Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight in the centers. Then I used Old Olive and I used Pear Pizzazz. Now, one thing about the markers on this paper is that I was not able to get any shading with using the markers with one color. Whereas with the watercoloring, you can do lighter, darker with the same color and have some shading. But with the markers, it went on, whatever came out of the marker is what you got on the paper. There was no other shading. So the only way to get shading with your markers is to use multiple colors and just kind of build up. Hi, Pamela. Hi, Barbara. Thank you for sharing. So that hopefully will cover some other lingering questions regarding Tuesday's class. But if any of you have any other questions, don't hesitate to post them here. And when I go back after the class is over and review all of the posts, I will be happy to answer any additional questions. So today's class is based on coloring the Petal Passion Designer Series paper with the Stampin' blends. Now, if you logged on earlier, you'll see that I posted an update because as I was preparing for class, I did a quick inventory check, and Stampin' Up! Has listed quite a few of our Stampin' blends as being on back order or of limited supply. So it kind of altered what I was going to be doing in class today because some of the colors that I used are on back order, and I didn't want you to see me playing with product that you can't order right away. Well, you can order it, but you won't receive it right away. So what I did is I updated my blog post, and I posted here on my Facebook page linking you to what is currently available, and that was as of 4 o'clock this afternoon, in my online store for purchase for the Stampin' blends. I had originally in my template shown that I used the full collection of Stampin' blends markers, but now there's just a slightly more limited supply available. So if you're interested in starting your Stampin' blends collection, I would definitely order now and not wait to order them. First of all, if you start building towards your $50 and $100 increments, you can earn your free celebration items for ordering now, but also you reduce the risk of having your markers go on back order. And we all know how much we hate waiting for our orders, right? Don't we want it like right away? So today I'm going to play with just the blends that are being shown available as of right now, so that if you love them and you want to get them, you can go order them, as opposed to my saying, oh, I'm sorry, that one's not available right now. You're going to have to wait. Because right now they're showing to be determined for the next delivery date, or actually into the beginning of June. And who wants to wait till June to get blends, right? We want them now. We want to play now, not 2 months from now. So here's today's card. So basically how this card started, and I'm going to remove this for now, I'll bring it back later, is I started coloring a full sheet of paper. So the papers come in a big pack, and I had a piece of it, a big piece of it hanging around, but I don't anymore. So I will just quickly show you in the occasions catalog, if I can find it quickly. And quickly never happens when you are live and people are waiting. So on page 23, here is the Petal Passion Designer Series paper. So you basically get a whole pack of 12 by 12 sheets that are all this black and white design. And all of them can be colored with the Stampin' blends, your markers, watercoloring, spritzing, brayering, you name it, you can color it using that technique. So the full 12 by 12 sheet of the large floral, I decided one day when I was kind of having an off day and I didn't really have a lot of time to sit down and make cards, is I decided to color a whole entire sheet of paper. And I have posted this and some of the multiple steps on my Facebook page here as I was going along, because it was kind of neat to watch it progress. And I'm just plugging you in. Sorry about the jitter. Just wanted to get you plugged in on the stand. So I sat down and over a week's time, I colored a whole entire sheet of this 12 by 12 paper with my blends. And I basically did it to learn how to use my blends because I was finding them kind of intimidating and I was afraid of them, and I put them away and ignored them. And I thought this was a great way to get to know the blends and just practice some of my coloring and shading. So this is just one piece of it. And then I cut it up. So I have cut it into 3 by 4 pieces because that way I can get 12 cards out of one piece of designer series paper. And then depending on what the focal point is of my piece, that's how I decided to mat it. So this one I could have matted on the Night of Navy, but I matted it on the pink pirouette. And I actually should bring in a piece of white to put it against so you can see it. So this one I thought I would mount on pink pirouette and kind of draw attention to that flower there. And then the next one, I had a lot of yellow and orange and red, a lot of bold colors. So I thought this one would look really pretty mounted on a piece of Daffodil Delight. And then the next one, I also put on pink pirouette. So I thought that came out really pretty. And again, I can rotate it around. I can have a card going vertical, horizontal, just depending on where I want to put a sentiment. And then the next one, I discovered I was all out of rich raspberry cardstock. Horrors. Not good to find out going into a class. But I discovered that the plum, what is this? Plum? No, fig. I keep wanting to call it plum. It's fig. That the fresh fig actually plays very well with rich raspberry and that shading. So that's what I cut. I cut up some fresh fig. So that one will go on that piece. So I'm going to have the 12 cards out of one piece of colored cardstock or colored designer series paper. And I just have to finish chopping this up. But I think the next one I'm going to frame. I put a lot of work into that and it came out really pretty. I was thinking of framing it, but I didn't. I chopped it up. Okay, so for today's card, let's get all my little bits out of here. For today's card, I have a black card base, cut 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. Then I have a piece of old olive, and that's 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to be for our background layer. Then I have a piece of my designer series paper that we will color during class. And then, because I don't know how it's going to turn out, I've cut some various mats. So I have the Fresh Fig, Night of Navy, Daffodil, and the red. So we're going to play around with the blends and see what we come up with and then decide how we're going to mat it. Then the sentiment here, this is the same one we used on Tuesday. It's the You're the Best, and that's from the Label Me Pretty stamp set. So we're going to stamp that in the Memento black ink. And then we're going to die cut it. And I thought I was just such a genius when I was trying to find just a little die cut to go on the front of my card because I don't want to hide all that pretty paper. And I found this shape here in the Bottles and Bubbles Framelits dies, and it's perfect. It fits it perfect. It doesn't cover up a whole bunch of my designer series paper. I love it. So we're going to die cut with that. And then we're going to add some gold thread just to give it a little extra something something. So we have that. And most importantly, one of the stars of our show, as I get it out here, is the Petal Pear embossing folders. And again, you can get these for free now as part of Celebration. So that's exciting. Now there's two of these. There's a vine and a floral. I used the vine on my card. I thought it added just enough embossing. But this is what you get when you use the flower one. So I think that's really pretty too. I think this might look nicer if there was less going on in the designer series paper on the front. But we can play with it. We can see what we like better. So to start, I'm going to emboss my piece of old olive. And then when we're done coloring, we can decide which piece we want to use, whether we want to use the vines, like is in my sample, or if we want to use the flower. I'm still leaning more towards the vine, but I want to have the other one available as a backup, just in case. Okay, so I'm just going to run that through my Big Shot. And hope I don't hit the stand, because that wouldn't be fun. Whoop, the handle just fell off my Big Shot. When I was moving, the little screw came out of the handle on my Big Shot, and I put it away somewhere where it would be safe and where I wouldn't lose it. And now I've pushed us totally out of the screen here. So when I was moving, I put the screw away so that I wouldn't lose it and it would be safe during my move, because I had to find one of those hex wrenches to put it back together. And wouldn't you know, I put it away so safe I can't find it. So now I have a handle that I have to just keep slipping on the end until eventually in the unpacking I can find it. Or I'm going to have to call Stampin' Up and ask them if I can get a new one. All right, so here are the blends that I have to choose from. These are the ones that were in my original card but are currently available in my online store for you to purchase. So we're just going to play and see what we come up with. So I always find with this paper that the easiest thing to do is to start with the leaves. So I'm just going to come in and color all of my leaves. And this is the light old olive. And occasionally, after I do this, I find some leaves that I either didn't recognize as leaves or I missed. And believe it or not, I think this is a leaf. And I could have just as easily made it a flower, and I probably should have, because nobody would have known. But hey, I didn't. It's a leaf now. Unless I cover it. I could cover it with a darker color. Did you know you could do that with the blends? If you're not happy with one of your lighter colors, you can come in with a darker color and cover it up, and no one will know. And I'm doing this a little bit faster than I probably would if I wasn't on camera and didn't want to tie you up all day watching me color. All right. All right. And I'm sitting down below the camera, so I'm not going to be able to see your comments. Well, I guess I might be able to if I bring you up on my laptop. But I don't know. Let me see if I can see it. I'm seeing if the comments are going to come up over here on my laptop. Right now the little thing is just spinning. I'll tell you, this house is so weird when it comes to the internet connection. It's kind of giving us fits. Some days I just want to shove the whole thing out the window. I don't know if you've seen any of my photos posted, but it's what they call a raised beach style. And it's basically 3 stories because the garage is under the main living area, and then the main living area itself is 2 stories. And the Wi-Fi, the modem and everything is in my husband's office, which is on the top floor. So trying to get internet connection throughout the house can sometimes be sketchy. So right now I'm basically just coming in with my dark Old Olive, and I'm just adding a little bit of visual interest and additional shading by just kind of following the lines that the designer put in the paper. Because don't ever ask me to shade something pointing towards a light source or anything artistic like that, because it probably isn't going to happen. I can handle that concept when I'm with photography, but not with coloring. And I love to color. I love to sit down with the grandkids and color, although they've kind of outgrown coloring a little bit, which makes me kind of sad. But creating a light source or drawing from scratch, forget it. I'm much better at coloring within the lines. Give me a coloring book and I'm good. Ask me to design a coloring book, forget it. All right, so. Oh, Linda, yeah, the beach word makes me smile too, but we're a little bit inland from the beach. We're actually on an old plantation's rice fields. So we have water right outside our back door. It's just not, it's brackish. So it's somewhat ocean water. It's a little bit of salt water, but mostly fresh water from the rivers, actually from the Intracoastal waterway. So we have, one of these days I'll pop you guys out of the stand and I'll show you what I'm looking at when I'm sitting here talking to you and doing my live classes, because I'm at my table that's right in front of my window. So I'm actually looking out over the water. Okay. So now I think I have all my leaves done. Yeah, my husband bought boosters. You're suggesting the boosters. My husband did buy boosters. But we have our home security is hooked up to the wire. Oh, this is dark. I want to start with light. Ah! Our home security is hooked up to the wireless also. We have all these cameras and stuff in the house. And we're also able to like open the garage doors with our phones with an app and lock the doors with the app. Then we have the cameras that are on Wi-Fi. So we haven't been brave enough to disconnect everything to set up the boosters. Because the cameras and everything, they keep going, some of our cameras keep going offline. We also have the Nest cameras. I don't know if you've heard of those, so that I can watch my dogs. But we just haven't been brave enough to disconnect everything to put in the boosters. Maybe one of these days, because my husband travels a lot, so he's not here a lot. So he has to do it when he's here to solve any problems, so he doesn't leave me without any coverage. It's a big, complicated mess, but we'll get there sooner or later. I don't know, maybe later rather than smooth. I don't know. Yes, Christina, you're right. My house is outsmarting me. I hope I'm not shaking you guys too much. I'm hearing rattling. But I'm trying to color quickly. And apparently I'm shaking the table. All right, so there's my light. I think that's a rose petal there too. There's my light. And I'm sorry, I know this must be really boring watching me color. Everyone was laughing on Tuesday because I colored on Tuesday also. And I was joking about how a lot of times when I watch videos, if there's a lot of coloring, I fast forward through it. Because I just don't have the attention span to sit there. So those of you that are being patient with me, I commend you. Because I can't say I would do the same. And this is my video. I shouldn't even be saying that. But it's true. I'll tell you, I was of the school age, I'm dating myself slightly, I was of the school age where, you know, diagnosing kids with ADD wasn't a thing. You were just lazy. And I swear I've self-diagnosed myself with ADD because I can't stay on task for anything. Which is why I'm using so many colors in my project, because I would bore myself silly if I didn't. All right, I don't know. I think I'm gonna do yellow here. What do you guys think? Yellow? Oh, thanks, Linda. Well, I'm glad you're watching and hanging out with me. My husband's away, so I've been talking to dogs all week. I'm grateful for my live at 5s because it gives me people to talk to. And then yesterday the chiropractor was here for one of my dogs, so I got to talk to the chiropractor. Lucky him. All right. And I just realized I colored the whole entire yellow flower with the dark instead of the light. So I'm gonna see if I can remove some of that with the light yellow. See what happens when you talk and babble and don't pay attention to what you're doing? But sometimes these lighter markers can take out some of the color. The color lifter can too, but I haven't become as well versed in the color lifter. But I think this is removing some of the color, which I find very cool. You can actually see it on Whisper White pushing the ink around. It's really kind of neat. It takes on this life of its own, and it literally starts moving around. It's pretty neat. All right. Let's see how this looks when it gets a little bit drier. Trying to add a little bit more depth here. That doesn't look too bad. Okay. Yes, I agree, Linda. Yellow is a very cheery color. All right, so what do we have next? The only ones I haven't used yet are Pumpkin Pie and Razzleberry. So I think I'm gonna do Pumpkin Pie on this one. I've used Pumpkin Pie on this one before. It makes it really pretty. And the other thing I found out about using these blends, first of all, I watched too many videos of other people using their blends. And I looked at far too many projects on Pinterest of people using their blends. And I became very intimidated because there are some people out there that can do pure art with their Stampin' blends. I mean, the things that the shading they come up with, it's unreal. And then I would try to copy them and it would be a complete disaster, and I was getting frustrated because I couldn't figure out how they were getting the results that they were getting. And I was either putting down too much ink and then that was making it bleed. So too much saturation of color makes it bleed outside the lines. I was getting horrible bleeding. And I was getting so frustrated. And I actually put the blends away and I said, "Ugh, I wish I hadn't bought these. Big waste of my money." And I threw them in a corner and decided, well, they can't bother me if I don't look at them. And then I forget what prompted me to get them out again. I don't even remember. But I brought them out, and it was when, if you've been following my page or if you're on my personal page, it was when Baby Bo was really sick and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And, oh, Crystal, thank you. She said it's beautiful work. You have no idea what that means to me as I'm telling this story. So anyways, Baby Bo was really, really sick and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And I was really upset and I had to watch him all the time and take care of him. And I was just going down a rabbit hole. And somebody I think it was on our demonstrator, it was on our team Facebook page. We have a team Facebook page. And it's a very active page. So you can always go on there and, we talk about personal stuff and Stampin' Up! Stuff. It's not always just business stuff. But anyways, somebody had posted about coloring therapy, and how therapeutic it was to sit down and color. And I love to color, and it struck a chord with me. So I decided I was going to pull out this paper, and it's actually the paper that I cut up that I showed you earlier. And I was going to get to know my blends and just practice, because all it was going to cost me if I messed up was one piece of 12 by 12 paper. I could always buy more. And what did I have to lose? So I pulled out my whole entire collection of blends out of their little corner and just started coloring. And I just started playing with it and came up with my own technique. So I didn't pay attention to what anyone else was doing. I wasn't intimidated by anybody else. I wasn't comparing it to anybody else. I was just coloring. And that's when I fell in love with my blends. So it was the one good thing that I got out of Baby Bo being sick, was that I fell in love with my blends. And I would just sneak into my room, into my craft room for, 10, 15 minutes at a time and escape into coloring. All right, I need help. I need to pick another color. See this corner over here? I don't know what to put there. I'm gonna make this one Razzleberry because it's far away from that other one. I don't know, what should I put in this corner? Anybody? Oh, thanks, Marilyn. Marilyn says it's looking lovely. I'm trying. I don't know, what should I put in that corner? I like things to balance. Should I make it a rose? What do you think, a rose? All right, I'm just gonna make it a rose because I'm trying to watch the comments, but I'm not seeing anything pop up. All right, Linda said red, so she agrees with me. So it's gonna be red. I don't even know how many of you are left watching. How many of you got bored and left? But Linda's here, so I'm not totally alone. Because she's still talking to me. Oh, Anne's here. So there's still some of you here that have hung out. All right, let's just add a little depth. And as far as I know, I'm still in the screen, right? And you haven't seen the top of my head. Christina's still here. All right, so I haven't lost you guys yet. Okay, I think that's it. That's it. Coloring's over, folks. I think we're good. What do you think? Does it look good? Are we done? Susan's here. Jean's here. We're all here. Yay. Yay, we're all still here. Okay, so there we go. It's done. All right, now I gotta get up out of my chair, which is easier said than done because I'm stiff. I've stiffened up. Oh. So one thing about this house, so let me tell you, I'm getting my exercise. There's, I think, 17 stairs from the first floor to the second floor, and there's 20 from the ground to my front door. And then another 17 or 18 to the basement / garage, which isn't really a basement because it's above ground because we don't have basements here in the South. The water table's too high. So if you dig a foot, your hole fills with water, so we can't have basements. So I'm getting all sorts of exercise running up and down the stairs. All right, so now we have to pick a mat. So we've done all our coloring. And we have our Old Olive mat with the vine. And we also have an Old Olive mat with the flower. So just to give you an idea, I don't know about you, but that does nothing for me. Can you see that? That does nothing for me. So I think I'm going to stick with the vine. All right, so I'll use that for a different card. All right, so we have our vine and our card base, and we have our coloring. Now we need to pick a mat. All right, so we're going to need some votes. There is Real Red with the Old Olive. And actually, I'm going to take that away. There's Real Red with Old Olive. Okay. Here is the yellow. Ooh, I think I'm liking that one. There's the yellow with the Old Olive. Here is Night of Navy. So that's picking up the Night of Navy down here. And again, I did all these mats when I didn't know what our coloring was going to look like. And then this is the fig, but I don't think there's enough purple. And I'm with you guys. The minute I saw that yellow, I said, ooh. So what do you think? Yellow? Yellow and old olive on the black. Yes? Good? I'm seeing a lot of yellow. All right, we have our card. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna gather my supplies. We need our Memento ink. We need glue. We need our twine. We need some snips and our stamp. And then we need some scrap Whisper White. All right. So I'm gonna start, I'll stamp my sentiment, and then I can put the ink pad away and move that off the table. So, and I'm gonna stamp this. I don't have my glasses on, but I think that's smudged. That's smudged. That's why I come with a big scrap. All right, that one's better. I'm gonna do another one just for good measure. Okay. So we're gonna have, there's our sentiment. I just did a few just in case I had an oops going through the Big Shot. And then I've got my glue, and this doesn't feel like my heavy glue. Hold on. Nope. That was a lighter bottle. I want to make sure I have enough. And actually, look at what happens when you flip it over. Isn't that pretty? So we did all the coloring on this side. So let's say you're coloring on this side and you have an oops and you decide that you decide you hate it. Look at what happens when you flip it over to the other side. So it bled through, but look at how cool that is. One of these days I'm going to make a card with this side, even though I spent so much time carefully coloring this side. I think this looks awesome on the back side. Maybe it's just me, but I thought it looked really cool. All right, so I'm just going to use my glue. I love my green glue because it is very forgiving. And it allows me to smush it and move it around so I can get it perfectly centered. Because I can't stand it when it's not, you know, when it's off. Okay, so there's that. And then, and I also love it when you're putting down, I'm putting down the debossed, I'm putting the embossed side down towards the card. The other day we had embossed side up and debossed side up. So, whoops. And with glue, if you get it off the paper a little bit, you can remove it. All right. So I want that square. So you can do it either side up. If you'd prefer it embossed side up, you can do it that way as well, but I liked the interest of having it debossed up. Okay, so there's that. And then I need to put this on, but I'm thinking about the inside. And I have a piece here, but I'm not sure it's big enough. So, I'll put that aside for a second because I'm picking around on my table. I thought I had some little pieces for the inside. All right, so now I have to do my die cutting. So we've got the Bottles and Bubbles framelits. And then we have this little guy here, which I think is a label, supposed to be a label for the bottles. But it makes a really nice sentiment. Oh, now what fell on the floor? Did you hear that? I think I just lost another piece of my handle to my Big Shot. Oy, I'll tell you. And of course, I can't find it. Oh. Look at that. It's a piece of plastic. Oh, I finally broke my Big Shot plate. It just snapped right off and I broke it. Well, I guess I'll be ordering the new one since that's the original that came with my Big Shot. I guess it's time to order one of the newer ones. I had held off because I didn't really need it, but I do now. All right, so we're gonna line this up. And run that through the Big Shot. I just have to put my handle back on. Did you know you can still operate the Big Shot without the screw in your handle? I found that out the hard way by losing my handle screw. And you know when I'll find it. I'll find it after I've already called Stampin' Up! And had them figure out how I can get a new screw. Probably direct from Sizzix, but I will go through all the trouble of getting a new screw. And the day it arrives, I'll find the old one because that's always what happens. Okay. And I'm gonna put this back in the package because I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to make sure that's all safe and secure back in its package. And then we can finish putting the card together. Okay, so we have our panel. And then we have our colored panel. And we have our sentiment. And I'm actually going to do the twine first because I have to think about how we want to put this sentiment on the front of the card because I position it differently depending on how the flowers look. All right, so just gonna get some twine, wrap it around a few times, get the cap off my scissors. Okay, so there's our twine. That all straightened out. Give it a twist. Okay, now I have ends all over the place because I didn't get them. All right, so all I'm going to do to hold this down is put a dimensional over the middle. And then I can flip this over and just put it down in the middle. So that'll serve two purposes. It'll hold the gold thread, and I don't like ends. It'll hold the gold thread to the sentiment, and it'll hold the sentiment to the card all in the same fell swoop. One little dimensional can do all that. All right, so now just a few dimensionals on the back. And if you've bared with me this long, thank you so much for hanging out. Okay, and now I want to put this on the front of the card. What do you think, that way? What do you think? Hi, Pam. What do you think, Pam? This way? I think it really needs to go rows down, right? So that the weight is down, the visual weight is down towards the bottom. Yes? I'm waiting for, which other way? This way? All right, this is slow. Nancy's saying no, so I think you mean this way. Heaviest flower at the bottom. That's what I thought. Okay. Sorry, by the time the comments roll, oh, now Nancy's saying rows up. Well, now it's rows down. How about if we do it this way? We can do it this way. You want to do it this way? I don't know. The yeses, the nos, everything's rolling in. I kind of like that. Everyone's saying, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. I don't know what you want. That's too funny. Everyone's yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. This way? I'm hearing no, yes, and I keep flipping the card. So we're never going to get anywhere. Because I keep moving it. Oh, all right, you know what? I'm doing it this way. I'm going to do it like this. I'm doing it. I'm making a decision. There. It's done. Except this is crooked. Just going to do it a little different. We'll do it different. We'll do it this way. Okay. And then there's that one. So there you go. And now I'm getting a whole bunch of horizontals. Woohoo! So there you go. We're doing it this way. I think that actually looks really pretty. Could have done it this way too. But see, I mean, you can do it any different way. And it just depends on personal preference and where your flowers are. Like this, that way probably wouldn't have been very good. This way, definitely. But this one, it was giving me fits this way or that way. But I'll never have another cut that's exactly this pattern. So I can't reproduce it and try it a different way. So there you go. So how did I finish the inside? And I would do it for you, but the way that I cut my designer series paper to do the inside, it was for having the card go vertical, so I can't do it. But for this card, I took one of my 3x4 panels that I'd colored and I cut it, and then I just added a little strip at the bottom. So I just sacrificed one card's worth of panel to make inserts for some of my cards. And it's just a little 1/2-inch strip of the colored paper, just to dress it up. Except now I'm off because I'd need a 5 1/4-inch strip to go that way, but I'll think of something. Creativity, it'll find me. So there's our card. So I hope you've enjoyed today's class. And once again, if you are interested in purchasing some of the blends or other products that we have used in today's class or other Stampin' Up! Products in general, I would love it if you would help me meet some of my goals for this month and place an order in my online store at stampininthesand.stampinup.net. This is the hostess code for this week's hostess. This is the hostess code for this week's Live at 5 card classes. So everyone that places an order on my online store that uses this hostess code will get one of my card samples as well as a free gift in the mail from me. And there's special bonus gifts for the next 2 weeks in March for helping me try to attain some of the goals I set for myself for the month. And as I said in the beginning, I don't usually set goals because then I just feel bad about myself when I don't meet them. But I've actually been enjoying setting these goals and working hard to meet them. So I'm appreciative of everyone that joins me for my classes, orders from me, and shows me some love on my YouTube channel, etc. So thank you for tuning in and joining me for my classes. So now we're going to have our live drawing for folks that have commented on the class today. And what I'm mailing out to you for today's prize drawing is one of my card samples, which you would also get in addition if you had placed an order using the hostess code, and the supplies to make 4 of these cards. And that includes the cardstock, the pre-cut cardstock, and the pre-cut designer series paper. So all you'll need to supply is the sentiment for the front of the card, because I'm not allowed to send out kits that include stamping. You will need to supply your stamp set for the sentiment. I will send you the die cut. And you'll need your markers, watercolor pens, or blends for doing your coloring. So let's do our drawing. And I'm just using my laptop over here, out of camera, but trust me, I'm doing it. I'm just waiting for it to come up. So we have 206 comments. You guys are awesome. I think this is one of the highest comment rates I've had on my Live at 5s with no outside assistance. That's awesome. So we're going to pick a winner from today's commenters. You can enter simply by having commented on the post. And that was all the yes, no, up, down, in, out, rows up, rows down, blah, 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 blah. And my winner is Judy Friesen. Am I saying that right? F-R-I-S-E-N, Judy. So congratulations. And if you would just send me a private message with your mailing address, I will get your prize out to you. So thanks everyone for joining me. Thank you so much for sticking with me through the coloring. And Barbara, I see you're posting that we're so chatty tonight. I don't know if you mean all of you or me. I certainly was very chatty. But anyways, since I have you, who wants to look out the window? It's really pretty. I'm going to flip you out of the stand. And I'm going to show you out the window. Hold on, I'm going to unplug you. And I'm going to move my light out of the way so I don't trip over it. All right, you ready to look out the window? All right, hold on. I'm taking you out. I'm sorry, you're jiggling. All right, you ready? So while I'm standing here talking to all of you, I got to figure out how I'm going to position you to look out the window. All right, you ready? I'm going to flip you. Close your eyes. I don't want to make you sick. All right, ready? I'm about to flip. 1, 2, 3, flip. There's my view. So there's the water. There's the rice fields. Back in the olden days, they used to grow rice out in that water. And now it's my backyard, which having Labradors that like to swim is interesting because there's alligators out there and I don't want them to get eaten by the alligators. And this, stick my finger down here, see if this works. Where's my finger? Oh, there it is. See there's a sticky tree. See the sticky tree? We call that the finger tree. And on the finger tree, we get the bald eagles and we get osprey. And yesterday there was a great blue heron on the tree. We get the egrets. There's all sorts of stuff that go on that tree. And I'm going to be very, very sad if that tree comes down in a storm. And Diane, we are in Georgetown, South Carolina. So we're on the Intracoastal Waterway and the Black River, I think, where they come together. And there's the rice fields. So there's my yard. That's my backyard and the grass. And there's the view. So this is my craft room. My craft room looks right out over the water. I love it. I'm a very lucky girl. So thank you for joining me for class. I truly appreciate it. And I will see you again soon on my next Live at 5. So you guys have a fabulous evening and I will see you again soon. Bye everybody.